Welcome back, everyone. It's the Bourbon Judge.
All I got is bourbon.
Welcome back, everyone. It's the Bourbon Judge. Welcome back, everyone. It's the Bourbon Judge. Hey, we're back at it with a brand new Michter's 10-year rye, the 2026 release. Yes, the 2026 release. Really excited for today. Let me go ahead and pop this one open. So when I think of Michter's, I think of a couple things. Number one, obviously based out of Kentucky. Very consistent, right? They are a very consistent brand. You know what to expect when you think of Michter's. I think of a couple of things. Number one, fantastic whiskey. They are experts, and I say they, meaning Dan McKee, the master distiller, Andrew Wilson, the master of maturation. This doesn't want to open. Jeez. I think I got it. They are truly the experts when it comes to like toasting their barrels, aging their barrels, and so forth. And I love that. I love the fact that they're experts in that category, as well as they are also experts from a consistency standpoint. When I think of the Michter's 10-year bourbon, as well as the 10-year rye, in this case, very much consistent. Year over year, the whiskey is always top notch. In addition to that, as many people may or may not know, they also are known for having a lower barrel entry proof, where most distilleries go in at like 125. Michter's goes into the barrel a little bit lower, actually quite lower, at 103 proof. So it goes in at a much lower proof, and that is the reason why the majority of their releases, even if they are cask strength, are no more than like 105, 106. And then the opposite side, when they do add water, in this case, and they water it down to like the 92.8, I think it is, when they lower it down to 92.8, they're not adding a ton of water. So they're not diluting it so much where it's really impacting the quality of the whiskey. So that's a cool thing. All right, let's go ahead and pop this one open. Love it. Love it, love it, love it. So when I think about the Michter's 10-year rye, a couple of things also come to mind. Number one thing, most important, is the fact that they are using, and they kind of state this, they're not only putting whiskey out there that is only aged 10 years. So the minimum age of the whiskey that they're selecting for barrels is 10 years. But historically, they have used older whiskey. It might be 11, 12, 13, up to 15 years old. They don't put it out there, but they've kind of hinted at it and, and so forth. But unfortunately, they're only putting the youngest whiskey that's in production, which is 10 years old. So that's the reason why you have the 10-year age statement. The last thing I'll say about Michter's, in addition to the age, is the fact that all of the barrels that they put out for this release, each and every one is a single barrel. So my bottle is probably going to be different than the one that you try and so forth. But in terms of the one I have, so my bottle number is 26 for the year, 26, C0664. So that's the single barrel that I have. But again, the one that I'm reviewing today is going to be different than probably the one that you find out in the wild. Speaking of finding it, it's an allocated release. Like it is every year, it's an allocated release. So there's not a ton of them. So definitely always limited, allocated, and so forth. The MSRP is definitely up there, especially for a 10-year or at least 10-year age stated. Again, there might be older whiskey in there, but unfortunately, we don't know the exact age. But the MSRP is $210. Yes, $210. So it is definitely a grip. So I'm hoping that this whiskey is, hopefully it's amazing. Same proof as always, 92.8. All right, 92.8. Let's go ahead and get into this one real quick. I will say though, when I think back again to the 10-year bourbon, the 10-year rye, and I'm thinking back like over the last few years, they've always been very consistent. So I've never had a bad Michter's 10-year product. And I mean ever, like truly never. Some have been better than others, but none have ever been bad. And they've honestly, historically, have been worth the MSRP because it's just such great quality whiskey. But again, I understand, right? Prices go up in general across the board. There's a lot more whiskey on the market. So the interesting thing would be to see whether or not if this 10-year rye holds up and is it worth the buy status. We shall see. All right, let's dive into the nose real quick. Wow. I will say one thing about Michter's. Their nose on all their whiskeys, bourbons, the rye, American whiskeys as well. But in this case, the rye is so inviting. It brings you in. It really brings you in. I think of just like tug of war. It's just like slowly bringing me in. For a rye, which I know a lot of times they use a lot of their barrels have like a lot of corn in the mash bill, but it's still obviously a rye. But it's very approachable for, traditionally at least, for a bourbon drinker. Oh man, so in the nose does not scream rye at all. It really doesn't, not at all. I'm just getting a wave, and I mean a wave of like vanilla, a toasted like brown sugar kind of a note, slight marshmallow note. Again, they are experts at toasting their barrels, so they're very very unique with how they toast their barrels. Oh yeah, tons of vanilla, like a toasted brown sugar. This is amazing. And just a very subtle note of like a mint note on the background, a very subtle minty, peppery note in the background. It slightly reminds you that it's a rye, but in all honesty, it doesn't scream rye at all. Oh man. This also has, which is pretty cool, almost like a smidge of like a dark fruit in there. Almost like a blackberry note, which I don't normally get from a lot of different Michter's products, but this one does have like a darker fruit note, like a blackberry note. This is different. All right, here we go. Hey, real quick, 3 quick easy favors. Number 1, hit the like button. Number 2, drop me a comment. Let me know what are your thoughts on just Michter's as a brand. And then last but not least, what are your thoughts on Michter's 10-year rye? If you've had it, not only this year's release, but if you've had it in the past, give me your thoughts on it. All right, here we go. Cheers. That's just like a wave of just flavors. Truly a wave, like a roller coaster. Everything I had in the nose transfers to the palate. What I love about it is that the little bit of fruit that I had in the nose, it's very faint in the palate. It's like you definitely get it in the nose, but it's much more faint in the palate. The palate is it's a roller coaster of the primary things that I had. First and foremost, the vanilla note, that toasted, kind of like a toasted brown sugar note, the oak, the spice from the rye, like the pepper notes, if you will. Much more of like a brown sugar meets a vanilla, kind of like a vanilla custard, if you will. Very sweet. This does not sip like a rye at all. I mean, honestly, if anything, this sips way more like a bourbon than it does a rye. Let me get one last little sip on this. It's such a clean and elegant finish. It sips right at its proof point. I will say that. It sips right at 92.8. What I love about the 10-year rye from Michter's is that it's always, and I mean extremely, it's always very consistent. You can tell that this is a refined whiskey. It is definitely a refined rye whiskey. Nice, clean, long finish, and it's absolutely delicious. Woo! All right, I'm gonna get one last little sip. I need it. One last little sip before I give this verdict. Gotta just have one last little sip just to make sure I'm making the accurate judgment and ruling for today's court. All right, here we go. One last little sip. Oh, that nose is so damn good. Just the layers of brown sugar, vanilla, oak, that darker fruit in there, that blackberry note. Very nice. Cheers again. Very good. Very, very good. That's actually a fantastic pour. It really is. It's a refined experience. All right. Let me go ahead and give it the verdict. So, Judge, if I see this in the wild and it's at MSRP $210 plus tax too, which is, tax in most states, it's probably gonna be like closer to $220, $225, because obviously every state is gonna be a little bit different. Is this worth grabbing for $2.25? The verdict is in. This, my friends, woo, is a split decision. Here's the reason why. I'm giving this one a split decision because of a couple of things. Number one, it is a fantastic pour. I want to be crystal clear. It is a fantastic pour. It's clean, it's sweet. You can tell it's a refined whiskey from the beginning of the nose all the way through the mid palate, into the palate. It's exceptional, right? But I'm also mindful of the price that is $210 MSRP plus tax. We're talking like $2.25. That's a lot of money for whiskey. And as we all know, where whiskey is today, there's a lot of great whiskey on the market. single barrels, store picks, group picks, etc., that are putting out older age stated whiskeys, ryes and bourbons that are 10, 11, 12, 13 years. And a lot of times they're only like 120, 130, 140, 150. So this is a lot more money. So I'll leave it up to you based off of your budget, right? Based off of your budget, if you're willing to spend $225 and you're like, Judge, you know what? Don't worry about me. Don't worry about my wallet. This is absolutely, in my opinion, fantastic. But for the folks that are out there that are very budget conscious, I would say maybe hold off, right? Because I do understand $225 is a lot of money. But for me, I personally would buy this because I think it is a refined experience and it is fantastic. This is a whiskey that you would brag about to a lot of your friends, and it's definitely worth it. All right, my friends, as we sit in this courtroom, peace, cheers, most important, salute. Take care. See you guys.